What is up, y'all? My name is Robert Donaldson, and you can follow me at RobDFB on Twitter. And today, I am joined by my buddy CBB Nick, who you can follow on Twitter at CBB Nick. And what we've been doing in these videos, just going through each conference tournament and breaking it down step by step, level by level, talking about future bets as well. And we're going to have on this channel, we're going to have an individual video for every single conference tournament this season. At least that's the goal, and I think we're going to accomplish it here. So, Nick, we have the MVC here. Last year, when we were looking at this tournament, it was a fun tournament. This is always an extremely fun tournament. Last year, it played a little bit chalk. We saw the number 4 seeded Loyola Chicago beat number 1 seeded Northern Iowa in the semifinals, and we saw number 3 seeded Drake knock off number 2 seeded Missouri State in the semifinals as well. But up until that point, every single higher seed won their individual matchups. And this year, when we're looking at this field, I mean, this is as tight as it gets as far as the top teams go. We talked about the Horizon League and the Sun Belt already, but man, when you look at kind of the top teams there, nobody really solidified themselves as the clear dominant team. You have about 8, 9 teams in the mix there of, hey, they can compete with anybody on any given night, and that's going to make for a fun Arch Madness tournament in St. Louis. And let's start in the opening round where we have the 8-9 matchup between Northern Iowa and Illinois State. This Northern Iowa team kind of disappointed this year as far as they had a lot of hype coming in, a lot of good guards, a lot of players that people thought maybe they could build around and have a nice year, just didn't really come to fruition. So as far as this matchup goes, who are you seeing advancing out of this 8-9 seeded matchup?
Yeah, I think you hit it spot on. I think Northern Iowa has had a disappointing year, especially compared to last year. But this Illinois State team is not good. I think Northern Iowa is definitely capable of beating them and at least moving on to the second round. So I'm going to take Northern Iowa.
Yeah, I do think the cutoff point for me as far as the can be competitive to win this conference does stop below Northern Iowa and doesn't go down to Illinois State. So I'm going to take Northern Iowa to at least advance out of the first round there. And as we kind of go down, we have number 5 seeded Indiana State. A disappointing end of their season as far as they could have beaten Belmont for sure. They could have beaten Missouri State, and now they would be looking at a bye if they did so. Instead, they are playing on the first round against number 12 seeded Evansville. I mean, it's about as cakewalk as it can get in this conference tournament, but how do you see this matchup playing out here?
Yeah, like you said, they were just short of that bye, but this is essentially a bye. I don't think they should have any trouble taking down Evansville. This team, I agree with what you said. Below Northern Iowa, I don't think any of those teams have a shot at making a run. So yeah, Indiana State's going to get this one done easily.
Yeah, this is a game that we probably see as a double digit line, like minus 13, minus 12 and a half, somewhere in there. And I'm going to lay it with Indiana State. And yeah, I'm going to take them to advance to play Belmont and what is sure to be a fun second round matchup. But as we're staying in the first round here, let's go down to the 7-10 matchup where we have Murray State taking on Valparaiso. And interesting matchup here. Murray State's obviously one of the two newcomers, or excuse me, one of the 3 newcomers in this conference. How do you see this playing out? And kind of in the same boat as Northern Iowa, Murray State had a down year, or at least a year that wasn't up to their usual standards. But how do you think this 7-10 matchup plays out?
Yeah, these are Murray State for me has been hard to figure out all year. I think I had higher expectations for them than how it ended up. And these two teams just played each other as well, with Murray State squeaking out the win by 1 point at home. I think I'm going to go with Murray State. I think they are the better squad than Valpo. But this is going to be a really close game, and I wouldn't be too shocked if Valpo gets the win over them. But I'll ride with the Racers for one more ride.
Yep. I am also in the same boat. I'm going to ride with the Racers. I'm not going to have, I guess it's a little bit of a spoiler for the next pick, but I'm not going to have any upsets in this first round. But I think the second round is kind of where it starts to get a little bit wacky. So I am going to also take Murray State to advance to play direct in the second round. And as we go down to the 6-11 matchup, we have Missouri State taking on University Illinois Chicago. And again, Missouri State, another team that after their run they've had the past 3 years, kind of came down a little bit down to earth just because they lost so much to graduation, transfer portal, etc. How do you see this matchup playing out here between Missouri State and UIC?
Yeah, again, I was really high on this Missouri State team coming in. Again, a little bit disappointing, but I mean, the 6 seed isn't nothing. It's not too far down the line. But
Yep.
again, these two teams also played each other a couple weeks ago. Very close game. I think it was 4 point win for Missouri State. Yeah, I feel like this is going to be close, but I'm going to have the Missouri State edging them out in a close game.
Yep, I am also in the same boat. I'm also going to take Missouri State. I just think they have the most upside as far as one of these kind of scoring potential goes teams in this league. So yeah, I'm also going to take them to beat UIC there in the first round. But as we kind of make our way up to the top of this bracket again in the second round here, we have Bradley going up against Northern Iowa. Who do you have coming out of here? Obviously, Bradley won the regular season today as we're recording this against Drake in pretty impressive fashion. They won by double digits, was never really close. How do you see this game playing out here to advance to the third round?
Yeah, I think this is where we're going to get a one-sided game for Bradley again. I think their offense is just really good. They're shooting 37% from three, 46% from the field. And Northern Iowa, like we said, while they might have a little fire under them from last year, falling short of what was expected from them, I think they're running into a wagon in Bradley. So Bradley's going to definitely get the win here.
Yep, I am right there with you. I think this Bradley team has been the most impressive team throughout the Missouri Valley Conference season, and I do think they end up advancing to the semifinals as well. But here we go. Here is, I think, the most fun matchup we're going to have in this tournament. And I think it's going to be very telling for a lot of things. But we have four-seeded Belmont, the newcomer to the Missouri Valley Conference from the OVC, taking on five-seeded Indiana State Sycamores. Who are you liking to advance to the semifinals out of this matchup here?
Luckily for us, we just saw this game happen about 5 days ago, and I know we talked offline about it as well. I think we both liked Indiana State in that spot. We took the over in that game, and we weren't disappointed with the results. I think this is going to be a really good game. I hope we get a game like we did a couple of days ago, where it was down to the wire, high scoring, fun game. I think that's what we're going to get, but I think Indiana State's going to get their revenge, and they're going to knock off Belmont in a little close game.
I am right there with you. I love this Indiana State team. They are never at a ball game. At the same time, they can also blow leads. I wouldn't be surprised. Like in the first matchup, they were up 20 points on Belmont, maybe even more than 20 points, and they ended up losing at the last 2.1 seconds of this game by 1 point. It was a tough way to be on Indiana State money line plus 2.5 in that game, but at least they covered plus 2.5. I'm not too bitter, but yes, I will also be taking Indiana State to advance past Belmont. I just think they're the better team, and I think Belmont caught a little bit of a break there getting the first round bye, but like we kind of talked about, Evansville is kind of like having a first round bye. So I'm going to take Indiana State to advance to semifinals there. And then as we go down to the next game, we have two-seeded Drake taking on number 7 Murray State. And obviously Murray State is the newcomer here. Drake narrowly lost out on winning a regular season title in the Missouri Valley Conference today, but still a very good team, a lot of talent. How do you see this matchup, though, playing out here?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the 2 seed. I'm a sucker for great guard play. And when you have three guards shooting over like 36, 37% from three, like just feed it to me. I think guard, I have no stats to back this up. This is just like off the dome, and I could be speaking out of my ass. But when you have just good guard play and they can defend well and shoot well, and you run your offense through your guards and not your bigs, I like those teams to go deeper rather than teams that don't. So with Drake's guards, they're way better than Murray State's guards. So I'm going to go with the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and this is a matchup where we saw them play already twice this season, and both times it was a 20-point game, or nearly a 20-point win for Drake both times out. I just think Drake is the significantly better team here, and I think they have a real shot to win this whole thing. So, yeah, I'm going to take Drake to advance to the semifinals here. And then as we scroll down to the last game in the second round here, we have number 3 seeded Southern Illinois taking on number 6 Missouri State. How do you see this playing out? Because this is a very fun, interesting matchup here in round two.
Yeah, I actually, like, admittedly haven't really been paying as much attention to Southern Illinois as I probably should have. They're good team, just looking over some of the stats. But yeah, I have faith in this Missouri State team. I want to see them get a good win under their belt, and they're definitely capable of doing so. And I think if they're going to knock one of the teams that got a bye in this conference off, that this is the spot that they would do it. So I'm going to ride with Missouri State to get a little 6-3 upset.
I am on board with that as well. I think this is going to open up to a surprise, maybe to some, as a 1.5 line, maybe a pick 'em line, maybe 2.5 at max. And I'm going to take Missouri State no matter what that line is there on the money line. I I think Southern Illinois capitalized really well on their home court advantage. I think they had, credit to their fans, their fan base. They really love this team, and they've been building up a fan base now over the past few seasons. COVID kind of put a halt on it, but now, they're still playing well. Fans are filling up that building, but on the road, we've seen Southern Illinois struggle a little bit and drop some duds as far as scoring goes. And Missouri State can, like we talked about in round one, they can put up points. So I'm going to take Missouri State to advance to semifinals there to play Drake. Now it's kind of where it gets very interesting. And you can kind of go a number of different ways. You can pick so many different scenarios here, and I wouldn't be surprised with either or. But we have Bradley taking on Indiana State. Both of us actually do in this semifinal matchup. Who do you like to advance to the championship game out of that matchup there?
Again, I love good guards. I think the game is more fun, at least to watch visually, with the guards just running the floor, like shooting threes, just moving off the ball. And Indiana State does that well. Macaulay is very good. They have Nice and Henry as well. I think this is going to be a really close game. I don't think it's going to be an easy win for either team. I'm going to take Indiana State with the slight upset over Bradley. Again, maybe a last second buzzer beater, or at least a free, comes down to free throws, last minute stretch type of game. It's going to be a battle. But I'm going to go with Indiana State. I actually believe in this team a lot.
I am also right on board with you again there. I love this Indiana State team. I got the chance to watch them live against Northern Iowa, and man, I was just so impressed, and I've been so impressed with them all season long. Tough finish at the end there to lose to Missouri State and to Belmont by narrow margins, but I think this Indiana State team has all the ability to make it and make a run in this conference tournament. So, as much as I hate it, because I do think these are actually the two best teams in this conference, personally, um, I'm gonna take Indiana State as well. I'm gonna take them to the championship game to play the winner of whoever comes out of Drake, Missouri State. And as we're kind of focusing on that matchup there, who do you like out of the two-seeded Drake versus number 6 Missouri State game?
I do think this is where the run comes to an end for Missouri State. I think Drake is deserving of this number 2 seed. I agree with you where I think between Bradley, Indiana State, and Drake, those are the top three teams, give or take the order. Honestly, I think it depends on the day, and anyone could win that matchup.
Yep.
But I think Drake is a really good team. I think we might not see them win this conference, but I think they're capable of getting to the championship game. So I'm going to go with Drake.
Yep, and I'm right there with you. I think Missouri State, like we kind of talked about the first two rounds, they're just the most volatile team in this league. And I think in a tournament site type setting like this, eventually it's going to bite you. And I do think Drake is a model of consistency. They have the guards to get it done. I'm going to take them to advance the championship game. And then we have a very, very fun championship game out of the Missouri Valley Conference. These two played twice this season and they split. So the first matchup, Drake, or Indiana State rather, won 75-73 on their home court. And then when they went to Drake, it was 68-70. So they literally have the same amount of points scored against each other, and their two matchups this season decided by one possession. Who are we liking in this 2-5 championship matchup to steal the auto bid out of the Missouri Valley?
Yeah, this is going to be a great game. It's crazy that both games were decided by 2 points. They're both so equally matched offensively and defensively.
Mhm.
It's really hard. I really hope this is what we get in the championship game because it's going to be awesome. Yeah, this is really like the definition of a coin flip for me because my brain wants to take Drake because I think Drake may edge them out in guard play, but like my heart wants Indiana State to win. Um, let's go with Indiana State. I think they can get it done. I think they're gonna get battle tested throughout this run, but it's gonna be rewarding at the end of the tournament.
Yeah, and I'm surprised, so we are taking Indiana State both actually in this matchup, and I don't think we're gonna. I think that this is the bracket that if you tune into a different show, maybe go on Twitter, see what people are picking, they could have 6 or 7 different winners out of this tournament. That's just how crazy I can see it being. And yeah, like I just said, I'm taking Indiana State to beat Drake, but I think it's any given day or any time, like whoever has their A game going in this matchup, I think is probably who wins it. And yeah, I'm going to take Indiana State to beat Drake. And as we kind of focus on our featured bets here for this conference, that I think we just kind of alluded to who we're placing at least one future on. But tell me, where do you think the value lies in this conference, and what bets have you placed, and what bets are you eyeing?
Yeah, so yeah, we gave it away a little bit with Indiana State. They're plus 550 to win the conference tournament. I think given how good that team is at plus 550 is really good value. They're like I said, they're going to get battle tested because Belmont is a good team that it's not going to be a cakewalk win to get even through the second round. And
Mm-hmm.
then again, playing Bradley and potentially Drake, they're gonna be sore at the end of this conference tournament if that's the run. But plus 550 at a team that I think is the third best in the conference is definitely very good. If you believe in Southern Illinois, again, like I said, admittedly, I haven't given them much attention. That's a fault of mine. But if you are keyed into them at plus 1400, if you think they can make a run, that's really good value on a team that's the third seed in this conference.
Yeah.
But personally, I'm just going to stick with Indiana State at plus 550. I think Drake and Bradley are too close to Drake's plus 135 and Bradley's plus 190. I don't see too much value considering the teams that they have to go through to get there. So I'll take the plus 550.
Yep, and that's also what I'm doing here. I'm placing one unit down on Indiana State at the plus 550, and then to kind of almost hedge that or potentially, have a backup plan. I'm also going to be betting Drake for 2 units. So I am hoping that there is a Indiana State Drake matchup there, and obviously I've been pulling for Indiana State, but still, I would be making profit regardless there if that is the conference championship matchup. But with all that said, y'all, that is another conference tournament taken down. And like I said, we're going to be trying to do a conference tournament of type of video breaking down the bracket, talking future bets for every single conference tournament on this channel. So definitely tune in if you are looking to bet some of these lower mid-major type of conference tournaments. But that said, I will see you all in a future video. Take it easy.